Welcome to Brand Bites, the podcast that brings you bite-sized insights from groundbreaking innovations to the latest gadgets. I'm your host, Tom, and in today's topics, the main ones here are going to be YouTube's fixing premium, the FBI doesn't want you to use public chargers, and Elon is a 12-year-old boy, which we all probably knew already, so that shouldn't be a shock to anybody. With that said, I've been gone for a little while, was out of town, and then coming back, we're getting back into the swing of things. We're going to get back on the regularly scheduled program. With that, let's jump straight into our first topic, which is YouTube Premium is adding more features for premium subscribers. I think this is going to be great. The more features you can add for premium subscribers is going to be helpful. Well, you do get music streaming with premium. You don't get that much outside of that. So for users that want to use Spotify instead, use other streaming services, there's not a real pull to buy premium other than ad-free. Most of the time, you don't really need to download a YouTube video. You don't really need to play it in the background that often. On your desktop, you already can, so it's kind of, there's not a ton of features that make premium that much more premium than anywhere else, especially now that Spotify is adding video for podcasts and stuff like that. There's just not a real pull for YouTube Premium, which is what YouTube's hoping to kind of fix here. So for premium users, you will begin to start getting the ability to have enhanced 1080p video, which is basically just a higher bit rate. So in reality, instead of going the 4K route, because why does YouTube need 4K? Just up the bit rate, which is what 4K basically was anyways. Like I would click 4K knowing I couldn't actually watch it in 4K because I knew the bit rate was going to be higher, and that meant better looking video. So for premium subscribers starting on iOS for now, which is weird because Google, you make Android, you could do it on Android first. You also make YouTube. So seems weird to do it this way, but this is how they're doing it. Basically, you'll get an enhanced bitrate version of 1080p, which is quite literally what the option is called, is 1080p premium, and it's enhanced bitrate underneath, which should help make your videos look more crisp. Bitrate is the amount of information per second. At least mostly that's how it's done. And so having this feature is going to be a great way to, if you're somebody who actually cares about what your video looks like, this is going to be a great way to encourage people to go that route. So hopefully it actually does. I mean, I don't really care about all the Spotify features. For my use case, most music apps suck. I want all my playlists on the homepage and I can just click in to what I want. Almost everyone makes you do a few clicks to get there now. And I don't really care. So your platform doesn't matter to me. I'll use whatever. So I use YouTube because I get premium with it. And when you watch enough YouTube, who wants to watch all the ads that come with that? So this will also include some other features here. We're going to be seeing, iOS is also going to be getting the share play feature to YouTube. There's already a similar feature on Android with Google Meet, but this will be for iOS. You'll be able to get this. And I think that's premium. I think on iOS it's a premium feature. On Android you have to use Google Meet, but I believe that's not a premium feature only. Now, the other new premium feature that is coming is basically, I'm going to call it handoff, which is what Apple calls it, but you'll be able to pick up where you left off on your video anywhere. On Android, iOS, desktop, any of that, you'll be able to just pick up your video exactly where you were. If you're watching a queue of videos, you'll be able to pick up the queue and the video right where you left off and just switch devices and be good to go, which is a cool feature to have. Like I said, I think it's great that YouTube's adding more features to premium to make premium more premium when there wasn't that much already. It's also rolling out the smart downloads feature. It started testing last year. I think I've had access to this for a little while. I don't know. That doesn't always do what I want to. I don't leave my subscription box that often, which might be different than how most people use YouTube. And I don't know. It's kind of a hit or miss feature, I guess. It's cool. It's there. It's an option. It's not something I use very much. And how much data is that really going to take up? Because this is including recommended videos. So when you're on Wi-Fi, it's possible that you could just download, I don't know, what's the limit? 10 gigs worth of video? There's a lot to figure out on that one. Now, I believe they've been growing their Yeah, I mean, they're raking in around 30 million paid global subscribers across its premium and music platforms, and jumped from the additional 50 million they already had. Yeah, this is kind of as if YouTube adds enough premium features to YouTube, I think you can start pulling people from Spotify to your music service because they'll get the YouTube benefit. Right now, to just remove ads and get playing in the background on mobile and being able to download content, well, it's great. It's not quite enough to pull people from a different music service. I know people that will just pay for both because they're two different platforms. But if they can even add more music side features, YouTube's already kind of started doing Spotify has your year in review. YouTube started doing that a little bit as well. I think I got like your winter in review or something like that. So they're trying to compete. They're trying to add more features to premium to make it that next level service, which is fantastic because Rivian is making a wave of announcements out of nowhere. The CFO made a bunch of wild claims on Twitter, and we got them all kind of nicely done here from Rivian Updates, which is amazing. So Rivian is hoping to, in the second half of 2024, achieve positive gross profit, which be pretty quick. It'll be a good turnaround. It'd be great to see them be able to do that. They have to be able to deliver the units to make that possible. Now they're hoping to build 85,000 R1s in 2024. The R2 production capacity will be 200K units, which I don't think we've even seen the R2 yet, but it is something that is coming in the future. And I just got my email out there, but that's all right. We'll blur that out in post. So what we have here too is Rivian is going to join the Federal Charging Fund in 2024, offering other car manufacturers access to the RAN program, which is their charging network. I kind of wish that they would all get together and kind of work with Tesla on this, since Tesla has such a big lead and is opening it up to everyone else. Kind of wish everyone would just agree that we're going to use this charger and set the standards together, but these automakers just really don't want to, which is fair. When all these companies are moving towards a subscription service, subscription-based charging is probably the future, and well, you're probably going to want your own network for that. You don't want to share that profit if you can make it on your own, which is what they're going to do. So the pre-March pricing backlog ends in 2023, but overall current demand backlog will go back to 2024. Tons of stuff kind of released here. Now, the R2 pricing is expected to be a little more normalized, competing with more premium volume EVs like the Model Y, Model 3, somewhere in there. I think it's supposed to be a Model Y competitor, but we'll have to wait and see what happens. Now, this is all super cool. It's great to see that Rivian is setting the bar high for themselves, at least. And other than that, there's just not much to say about that. It's cool. It's great to see another startup company is trying to compete here and, match up and be part of the discussion here and make headway, make these old automakers change their ways. Apple, however, they didn't learn much. Timmy Cook may have overestimated a little bit, just like everybody else did, how well sales were doing, because everybody at the first half of this year, or first quarter at least, has seen a pretty rough first quarter. And the iMac is no exception, or I should say Apple Macs are no exception. They dropped more than 40% in the first 3 months of 2023 than last year. They sold 40% less, just straight up, which there's kind of a lot playing in here. Apple released, I believe M1 was during the pandemic. They had all the M1 stuff, which was a massive platform change, massive, efficiency gains, massive, just big bump all the way around. It got faster, got better, got more powerful, especially in the mobile department. And then they released M2 and, it wasn't as great. The pandemic was ending. Nobody was buying this stuff as much anymore. And now people are going back into work. They don't really need the stuff at home. Everybody's seeing a big change in orders and stuff like that. And, Apple's no exception. And we're going to see it here. Now, they also are seeing about, a 1.4% decrease in market share, which is a pretty, I mean, it's not a huge decrease, but in Apple's neck of the woods, if you're less than 10% of it, you're one of the biggest companies out there. That is a sign. This is partially due, I believe, to Apple's lack of, you know, let's not talk about the Mac Pro. If they could maintain a Mac Pro line that people could rely on, I think this would be way higher. But truth of the matter is, they don't do a great job at that. So that'll get you. So Apple also reportedly halted all of its M2 series chips for MacBooks at the start of this year. The company only started making more at half its previous rate in March. So Apple taking a big hit. Dell, HP, Asus, Lenovo all scaled back shipments by nearly 25% or more, but apparently Apple scaled back the hardest, which again, I think it might have been with the M1 release and COVID that Apple's projections, well, they probably tried to account for it. That's a big release on just a perfect storm to have a ton of orders, and you're gonna see it drop. Be great to see them recover a little bit because this isn't going to be great for them in the long term. But this is you can't really fault these companies entirely, other than how did all of them overestimate by like 25 to 40%. I mean, that's some huge overestimating in some of the richest, most well-researched companies in the world. So that doesn't seem right, but it's, I guess, what happened. Unlike Domino's, who always seems to want to be at the forefront of all new technologies, you'll be able to order pizza straight in your car through the Domino's app. Now, basically, from my understanding, is you'll have to create an easy order, which is basically a pre-made order that the app knows is like a normal thing you want to order. And then from there, they'll go and you just basically click it or ask Siri to order that order. And Domino's will let you do it through the car, which is pretty cool. So instead of being able to call the order, you'll be able to, tap to order on the CarPlay or ask Siri to order for you through CarPlay. Now, this looks pretty cool here. I mean, you have family order. I mean, you could just make preset orders and your food could get home when you get home, or you could stop when you get there. You can also track the order in your car. If it's prepped, if it's baked, if it's quality checked, if it's ready, and then you'll be able to get directions to that store if you need them. Domino's they had the self-driving cars. They had the heated up car, right? Because they had the car that had a pizza oven in the back, so it just cooked on its way to you, right? That was a couple years ago, and I believe near Dallas, Texas, they were also testing self-delivery vehicles. So they're just doing that. They've toyed with other things, including instantly ordering pizzas via a pizza emoji text or the Zero Clip app that instantly orders pizza at launch. Recently, the company also, electric with a Chevy Bolts. A GM, ironically, won't have Apple CarPlay in these future models, which is kind of wild. These cars are becoming like iPads, and you drive them, and Apple CarPlay and Android Auto are kind of quickly being pushed away, which is fascinating to see when how poorly your phone plus your car kind of interact, even with Android Auto and CarPlay. So I don't know if getting rid of that's the right thing, but Domino's, once again, at the forefront of new technology or new ways to do something, removing the steps between your and your pizza dinner, which has always been something they've been good at least wanting to do or trying to do. And here they are no less than that. So Tesla, in its Master Plan Part 3, released the Cybertruck battery size. This is an estimate. This is not, we don't know which model this is, if it's the base model, if it's the top model, if Tesla really expecting their battery tech to be that far ahead. No one really knows. But in the thing, it said it will have a 100K battery pack. I think this is going to be a average, is what this is really going to be. I don't think we're going to actually see the 500 mile range version have 100 watt. That would be insane if they do that. Even if their 100 watt model can achieve 300 miles, that would be quite wild in itself. With other companies like Ford and Rivian and I mean, both of them, I believe both packs for those guys are about 135 kilowatt hours, and that's a 300-mile battery. So that's not a lot of range for 135 kilowatt hours, but that'll be, you know, something to see here if that changes. Now, the original three models, I believe the first one was like 250 watts or 250 miles on a charge for the Cybertruck, up to 500 miles, and I don't know how big of a pack that's going to really need to be. I mean, if that's true, if we just assume the base model is that 250 miles, then we're going to see the max model have a 200 kilowatt hour battery pack, which would be huge for Tesla. Other than the Tesla Semi, which I don't remember what size uh, battery pack that has. I'm going to look that up quick so that we can see what size that is. I didn't think I was going to talk about it, but here we are. Now, let's see. And I'm not finding it. The battery pack has a 900 kilowatt hour. Okay, so it's ginormous, which kind of makes sense because you're going to be towing a massive amount of weight. So I think I would say the 500 miles Cybertruck would probably be close to like 250 then. Now, they're still ahead in battery tech. Let's not put that away. That'll be a big battery, but they're still leading car battery technology, not even in just range per kilowatt hour, but also in terms of how much the regenerative brakes will put back into your vehicle with the amount of rare elements that they're using in their batteries. They just use less of those. They've gotten pretty good at that. And they have autopilot. I mean, there's just a lot of things Tesla leads in right now. And battery's going to be no exception. With Master Plan 3, with Part 3 going into effect here, we're really going to see things go quickly. Next up, we have the FBI does not want you to use public chargers. The FBI put out a notice that they would like you to not use public charging stations at airports, especially the USB ones. AC ones, you're totally fine. But as we can see, FBI Denver here said avoid using free charging stations in airports, hotels, or shopping centers. Bad actors have figured out a way to use public USB ports to introduce malware and monitoring software onto devices. Carry your own charger and USB cord and use an electrical outlet instead. Which is wild because think how many people you see at airports using the charging stations, and that is no more. You cannot do that anymore. Not safe. Bad at times if you do. Which I always carry a battery bank with me when I'm traveling. Most people should. Most people don't. And now you're going to see that you probably should. It's a pretty wild to see that the FBI is putting this warning out there. There must be quite a few of these going on for a warning to be necessary. Now, this is called juice jacking, where they basically put some malware on the actual USB charger in the wall there, and then if your cable has data wires in it, it will transfer those over to your phone with the charge. If your cable does not have the data transfer wires, technically you would be fine. Most cables do if you buy nice cables, so most of the time that is actually a problem for you. So stop using the USB charging outlets. You shouldn't have been anyways, but you know, most people don't pay attention to that, and now you really, really should. Now, this is basically the equivalent of plugging your phone into a stranger's computer at this point with this technology. And you don't really want your phone information getting stolen. For sure, for most people, there's a lot of data you keep on your phone, like credit card information for payment softwares, all of that. Not that that's easy to take, but it's something you should be careful about. With the ability for people to use microphones to detect what keys you're pressing on your keyboard, this could easily turn your phone into that microphone and hear your thumbs moving and know what you're pressing, or just even record what you're pressing on your screen and send that back to them for a nice little free credit card day. So don't do it. Use the AC charging bricks, or bring your own charger. It's going to be impossible to find those cables. Don't waste your time on it. Lastly, we have my new favorite thing that Elon has ever done. The landlord in San Francisco told him, you cannot take the W out of Twitter and make it titter. And Elon said, Yes, I can, and painted the W on the Twitter sign in San Francisco with the same color as the background. And now it says titter really weird. And, you know, we really have a grown man who is a little kid that, yeah, here we go. Bigger image here, is being a little kid. My camera died, so we're just going to go with the rest of this for the rest of the episode. And you'll be able to just watch what I'm seeing here. So as you can see, he just painted the W and he thinks it's hilarious. And they tried to muffle our titter and he thinks he's this funny guy. And I agree, he is pretty funny. I enjoyed the funniness. He also had a pretty good field day with changing his name recently to Harry Bowles, which I think is how you actually say it, but as you could probably tell, it's like Harry Balls, which is also hilarious. And then he proceeded to tweet out that he thinks it's funny that there's going to be news places that take themselves too seriously and will take that his name and actually look up the person who I believe is a German artist. I believe Harry is a German artist, and as you can see here, we have people writing articles about this. What is Harry Bowles? He is a German artist here, and I don't know why people keep writing. I mean, it's wild to think that he can tweet out something and hundreds of news articles, if not thousands, are written about it. Just a stupid tweet. He can have a funny joke, and people write tons of articles about it, and I love it. He is amazing for that. Look, I mean, even just on the internet, I'm only 3 inches tall at best. And impersonating others is wrong, as he has a different name of his own. Dude is witty and funny, and apparently having a great time. Now, somebody already launched a cryptocurrency based on this name change, and not that you should buy it, but for some reason I don't know, people just take advantage of everything, and this is awesome. Not that I don't think you should go buy this. I'm not a financial, but like it's kind of funny. It's you just gotta admit it's kind of funny that the richest man in the world just is 13 years old at best. Now he also took the Twitter logo and turned it into the Doge meme a little while ago too. I mean, man's just having a great time, and I am there for it. I am just, if you want to spend 40 billion to have a blast, go for it. That is awesome. I mean, you can't ask for a funnier guy to own the platform. There's just no better thing than that. With that said, thanks for watching this episode of Brand Bites. And I'd love to hear your bits and bites down below. Leave a comment below if you're on YouTube. If you're on Anchor, leave a voice comment. I think you can maybe do that on Spotify. Or reach out to me on Twitter. And don't forget to subscribe for more tech bites. For now, disconnecting from the simulation, and I will catch you guys in the next Brand Bites.